Hi there, Karen from EdibleWildFood.com, and I just wanted to show you how easy it is to spot a giant puffball. And when you do, it can be such an exhilarating feeling. Now, check this out. You can see it down there. This one is not exactly too terribly huge. It's probably about 10 inches across. And that's not all. Down there, over here, I'm going through some crazy bush here. Now this one looks like it's seen better days maybe. But it's going to go home, and any of the white part is definitely going to make it into a skillet. Now getting down there is going to be a little bit more trickier. Now I'll have to talk more about these when I get home. And this is not exactly safe terrain, so you got to always be careful as a forager. There we go. And this one's about 12 inches across. That's about 30 centimeters. 1, 2, 3. And no, it's leaves that got me tricked over there. Anyway, so sometimes when you're hiking along a trail, don't be just looking at the trail. Just take a peek off trail. You'll never know what you can find. Now, I'm going to go home with these in a little while, and I'll be back to talk further about the giant puffball. Okay, so let's get to business here. The giant puffball. These are found in the central and eastern parts of both the United States and Canada. Now these are a couple of other ones that I found. Little starters. Now you can find these usually during late summer and into the autumn. And you can find them in meadows, under small stands of trees, forest openings, and sometimes right into the forests as well. Puffballs have all sorts of different shapes, as you can see. They can be anywhere from round to pear-shaped. They all have spores, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. And they always sit directly on the ground. And right here is where it was attached to the ground. For this big one, anyway. These guys can measure anywhere, on average, from 8 to 11 inches, which is 20 to 30 centimeters across, 5 to 8 inches high, although this one is definitely a bit higher. That's 14 to 25 centimeters on average. When I cut this in half, if it's fresh, it'll be pure white. And if not, it'll be yellowish or olive brownish, and they will be soft. And I'll kind of get to show you what the outer part of the skin looks like as well. It can be, I think it's up to about 1 millimeter thick, and what that is in inches, let me just do this here. Oh, you see, look at that. You can see what's happening there already. This is not a good one. Okay. And wait, let's see. Let's check this one out for the, no, this one's a lot tougher. There we go. We got some good meat in this one. And you can see how thin the tough exterior can be. Alrighty, now let's finish off here by giving you a little bit of history on these guys. Now, I think I mentioned that the Latin name was Calvatia gigantea, and the classification was originally described in the late 1700s by the German naturalist August Johann Karl Bach, who called it at the time Lycoperdon giganteum. It got its current name in 1904 by Curtis Gates Lloyd, who was an American mycologist and pharmacist who specialized in research into the Gastromycetes. And I'm going to have to apologize for the quality of the video here. I'm kind of under the awning of my house right now because it is wet out here. And unfortunately, sometimes wanting to do a video, if I wait for a sunny day, it just can't happen. When you're out there and you find puffballs, sometimes you might find this real big one, but unfortunately by the time you get it home, it might not be as good as you think it is. In order to pick a good one, it has to have solid white flesh in the interior in order for it to be edible. Now, there could be, theoretically, there could be maggots or other insect activity, but that's okay. You just have to cut around it. And what you're going to do if you find small ones, you've got to first of all investigate to make sure that it is indeed a puffball. And when you do bring them home, never ever wash them. They will become so incredibly soggy. And let's say there's going to be a couple of days that you just have no time. Puffballs can be stored in the fridge without losing any significant quality for about 2 to 5 days. So let me see if I can do this one-handed, what I'm going to do. When you find small ones like this, I was saying you have to investigate to make sure that it is indeed a puffball. Now, let me see if I can use this puffball to jack the camera. Hang on. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Aha. Check that out. I decided to come inside to show you this because the lighting outside isn't exactly the best. And I found this to be most exciting. So as I was mentioning, when you think you have the start of a giant puffball, you must cut it open in order to determine, is it for sure the giant puffball? One of the telltale signs that say no is that it has gills. But this one doesn't have gills. This one is actually what's known as the egg stage of a stinkhorn, or simply put, a stinkhorn egg. This is such a unique find. In all the years I have been out there, this is the very first time I have found a stinkhorn egg, so I find this quite exciting. The stinkhorn egg is mentioned in the book right here. One of my books. This is one of the most easiest books to help with mushroom identification. And if you're not in Eastern Canada, don't worry about it. Lone Pine Publications has a book for almost every area across North America. And their books are amazing. So this stinkhorn egg is going to, or was going to, either grow to become the skirted stinkhorn or the Ravenel stinkhorn. Which one, I don't know. But I certainly want to do a little bit more studying on this. And so, sorry for the deviation on the giant puffball, but I thought maybe you would find this very exciting too. Now I went ahead and cut this one just to show you the inside. It's gone past the yellow stage and definitely well into the spore production stage. A really cool fact about this mushroom is that it has, I would say, a relatively large size of this specimen, probably the one you're looking at, can be almost, well, as you know, this one's well over 12 inches. but it can contain almost 7 trillion spores. That's impressive. The spores are incredibly tiny, and there's absolutely no way I could zoom in on any individual spore here, because each spore is 3.5 to 5.5 microns, and that is 0.0001/4, or well, I don't even know how to say that, so I'm going to be honest here. Anyways, they are bone dry when the spores are totally produced, but right now you can see they're rather moist. The Lakota tribe of Native Americans used this clean, dry material in their medicine. They would pack large wounds with puffball spores, and they did that to slow bleeding and to help blood clotting. The dried spores can slow bleeding if they're used as a coagulant. And they were reportedly used to treat bleeding and prevent infection. The use of the giant puffball in folk medicine actually led researchers to investigate it even further. In the 1960s, they isolated a substance called calvicin, which was shown to inhibit sarcoma in lab mice. I'm not having a good day today, guys. Anyways, calvicin is now cited as one of the first substances with anti-tumor activity located in a mushroom. Before I saute this in a very delicious way, I just wanted to show you that how to work with it in the kitchen. You want to remove the skin first. And there's so many websites that say, oh, it's, really simple, just peel back the skin and away you go. But as you can see, look at all the marks on the puffball. It's not as simple as you may think it is. However, when you do get these, let's say, runway areas where there's no marks whatsoever, it does peel off quite nicely. And away you go. So after you peel it, what you're left with, you'll have to do your best to cut it into whatever shape you need it, whether it be rectangles or cubes, however way you wish to use it in the kitchen. Now you see how there's some yellow markings in here? I will have to cut away at those to make sure that they don't make it into the frying pan. So, let's see, I'm just going to keep on doing this, and once I have it all cut up into pieces, I'll be back. So here is some of what I have cut up, and I'm going to take it inside right now and work with it, and I will be back when I hopefully have a winner. So I decided to do an Asian type sauce for the giant puffball, and so far so good. I have some roasted peanuts ready to go to add some crunchy texture to this when it's done. And I will have a link to the recipe below. So thank you everybody for watching. If you like what you watched, please subscribe and please share in your social media. And be sure to hit the bell for future notifications if you're a new subscriber. Thank you.